Shawnee Tribe, Shawnee Development, and the staff here at the property, welcome to the Golden Mesa Casino and Hotel grand opening celebration. We're glad you're here. For those of you I haven't met yet, I'm Ken Stonecipher. I'm the Corporate Director of Construction for Global Gaming Solutions. We're a wholly owned subsidiary of the Chickasaw Nation, and we are very grateful for our partnership with the Shawnee Tribe here at Golden Mesa. And as a resident of Guyman, Oklahoma for the last 32 years, my wife and I are very proud of the project that we have just completed here in Guyman. It's been a true collaborative effort with many partners. We're glad that so many of them are here with us this morning to celebrate. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first speaker. Chief Ben Barnes of the Shawnee Tribe was elected to his position in 2019. Prior to that, he served the Shawnee Tribe as second chief for 7 years and was a leader in the tribal gaming industry for 20 years. The roots of Chief Barnes' service go back to his volunteer efforts to revive the Shawnee language. Please welcome Chief Ben Barnes.
Hoisi wapani, Chucky Wietha, Ben Barnes, Natesi Tonoki, Okimasawanuki, Keta Yokope. Welcome and good morning. I'm so glad you're all here with us this morning to celebrate what we've accomplished with this $78 million investment in the Texas County, in the Guyman community. And there's so many different partners and people that we have to thank today. And we're glad that you're here today in celebration with us. And for our Chamber of Commerce folks wearing your orange, I wore my orange tie today specifically for you all. I want to acknowledge some folks that are here today. I'm going to give a lot of different thanks, but I want to acknowledge, like today we have in attendance the Supreme Court Justice, one of our Supreme Court Justices for the Shawnee Tribe, Ms. Pam Hart. She's here with us today. And yes, please, thank you. And also the Guyman City officials. We have Mike Shannon here, City Manager. The Mayor, Kim Peterson. And former County Commissioner Jack Strain, who also serves as a liaison for the Shawnee Tribe. Thank you, Jack. I couldn't miss another person from the local community, Texas County Sheriff Matt Boley. I don't think Matt's here today, but we sure appreciate him and his team at the Sheriff's Office. And to all you orange jackets and orange shirts at the City of Guyman, we appreciate you guys and thank you for making us a part of your family. I also want to take a moment to show my deep, deep gratitude and appreciation for our partners at Chickasaw Nation and Global Gaming, Governor Anatubby, Secretary of State Bill Lance, Secretary Boren, Dan Boren, and Skip Seeley from Global Gaming Solutions. On behalf of the Shawnee Tribe and its people, I say, Niawah, thank you very much. We appreciate our friendship and we look at you as family. Without your partnership, there would be no Golden Mesa Casino, and this dream of this expansion and hotel would never have been attainable. I also want to take a moment to thank our Business Council. Without their support and their complete and absolute backing of this project, this wouldn't be possible without them. So if you're on the Shawnee Business Council, would you please stand to be recognized? I will give you off your names. There's Second Chief Roy Baldridge, Treasurer Carolyn Foster. You can just wave, Carolyn, if you want. Treasurer Mark McDowell. And our council persons, Drew Dixon, Lee Blue Jacket, John Sparkman, Kenny Hood, and Diana McLean. We have a couple other council persons that couldn't be here with us today. If I've missed you, please stand up. I think I've got everybody. But thank you all. This is many hands went into making this happen. And first and foremost, the tribe, its people owe you all a round of thanks. Also, the ones that actually did the heavy lifting, making sure this all came together, the Shawnee Tribe has an economic subdivision called Shawnee Development Corporation. And without Shawnee Development Corporation and their guidance, they oversaw the day-to-day task of organizing. I was teasing Ken Stonecipher, it's like herding squirrels. And so these guys keep everybody in order. And so if you're with Shawnee Development, I want to recognize you. There's Chris Floyd. He'll be up here to speak momentarily. He's the president of Shawnee Development. Mike Stabas. John Sparkman. And Mark McDowell. Also, one of our former board members for Shawnee Development, Greg Pitcher, can't be here today, but his sister Pam, she's our Supreme Court Justice. She's here in his stead today. And I also want to thank our liaison to Shawnee Development from our office, my Chief of Staff, Cassie Harper. Last night I described her as the engine that made this whole thing possible. I don't believe that we could come in on time, on budget, with the size and scope of this project and scale if it had not been for her Herculean efforts to make this heavy lift. So on behalf of all of us, thank you, Cassie. And on our regulatory side, we wanted to make sure when we came to Texas County, when we came to Guyman, we wanted to make sure that first and foremost we had a well-regulated casino, one that was responsive to the satisfaction, needs of our guests, but also ensured that we had a good workplace for our employees that met and exceeded all federal, state, and our tribal requirements. And I want to thank its executive director, Otis Hughes. We have two of our three gaming commissioners here today. We have Kathy Kent, Terry Mason Moore, and former gaming commissioner, and I tell everybody he's my consigliere, Chris White. I want to thank you all. Thank you all very much for the regulatory work you put on to make sure that the regulatory requirements are met and that we do the things necessary to operate a good casino for our patrons and for our employees and for Shawnee people. And on behalf of the Shawnee Tribe, I want to thank Jeffrey Goodman. Jeffrey's our general manager. Jeffrey, where are you at, sir? In the back. Of course he's in the back. He's the one on the ground every day. I also want to thank Anthony Jones, our assistant general manager. And last night, probably the biggest heroes of all, they're not sitting with us right now. They're out here working. Our front of house, back of house people, our traditions hospitality staff. These are the folks that make it happen. There's a great distance between us in Northeast Oklahoma, where our headquarters are in the Panhandle, but it's one we've been committed to. I think Cassie has put more miles on the vehicle than any other tribal fleet vehicle we have. She's been out here about every 7 to 10 days. She's been burning up the roads, but we can't get out here enough, and the hospitality that we've seen. We're not strangers. You treat us as family. We're excited to be here, and if you're familiar with Shawnee and U.S. history, it wouldn't be really much of a surprise to realize that we were described as the greatest travelers in America. And more so now that we make this journey, 7-hour trip, about every week. So we're glad to do that. We're glad for our community partnerships. With our continued success here at Golden Mesa, our tribal nation's been able to establish tribal courts, expand our direct services to our Shawnee citizens, provide support to the Panhandle community, and pay down our nation's financial obligation in record timing. We've paid off the original debt of building this casino in record timing. We've established over a dozen new programs and services directly for tribal citizens. We continue to evaluate and enhance those services on an annual basis. To date, because of Golden Mesa Casino's continued success, we've administered approximately $4 million in tribally funded programs. These include elders assistance, burial assistance, housing, down payment assistance, multiple youth activity programs, and behavioral health services. One of the departments we're most proud of and thankful to date is our higher education and scholarship program. To date, we have awarded more than $2.3 million in scholarships to Shawnee citizens. This is how we change the future and trajectory of Shawnee people. Niuan, thank you very much for your support in allowing us to be able to do that for our community. Our language program wouldn't be able to do what it does with 137 students a week that attend that language program. It's vital that those programs are not funded through federal dollars or grant dollars. We have to support those through tribally funded dollars. And every dollar that goes to the casino goes to fund programs such as language, behavioral health, elder services. And our ceremonial council, our traditional people, those that still hold the religious heart of our community, have a very generous budget annually that we contribute to help them continue the ancient religious practices that Shawnee people hold dear. Our Tribal Historic Preservation Office, they field more than 31 requests per day from various state agencies asking for Shawnee input on various construction projects around the nation. None of this would have been possible except for leadership from people like our long-serving Chief Sparkman and Governor Anatubby. We thank you for your tireless service to your peoples, whether they be Chickasaw or Shawnee or the people of Oklahoma. Thank you. Niuan. Finally, once again, my biggest thanks goes to you, the people of Texas County, the people of Guyman. You've made us your family. We're honored. We consider that a sacred privilege, and we're honored to be amongst you. And I thank you. Niuan Nikushche.
Our next speaker is Secretary of State Bill Lance from the Chickasaw Nation. Secretary Lance has dedicated his career to serving his tribe. As the administrator of the nation's health system, he spearheaded the development of the Chickasaw Nation Medical Center. In 2009, he was appointed Secretary of Commerce. During his tenure, he managed over 60 tribal-owned entities and more than tripled net revenue for the Commerce Department. He was appointed Secretary of State of the Chickasaw Nation in 2022 and continues to represent the nation on numerous business, civic, and government associations. Please welcome Secretary Lance.
I would like to thank our Global Gaming Solutions team, starting with Chairman Bourne and his dedication towards this project, our CEO, Skip Seeley, and the entire team. If the GGS team stand up and be recognized, I'd appreciate it. Great job, great job. I've been involved in this project for 10 years. And so I get a call from Governor Anatubby, and he tells me he wants me to meet Chief Sparkman. Doesn't give me a whole lot of background on the meeting, so I really don't know what to expect. But I'll tell you, you spend time with Ambassador Sparkman. Many of you have done that over the years. He's so positive about everything. I mean, he kind of laid out the history of the Shawnee tribe, you know, the challenges that the Shawnee people have endured. And, you know, this unique congressional land claim and the opportunity to get land into trust and really have sustainable economic development for his people. And I'll tell you, his demeanor today was the same person I met 10 years ago. I mean, his positivity is just infectious. And, you know, like Governor Anatubby, I quickly bonded with Ambassador Sparkman. And I see the same leadership traits in Chief Barnes, and really appreciate his leadership when ultimately Ambassador Sparkman decided to step down. I'm going to give you some information you may or may not know about Ron Sparkman. With over 5 decades of dedicated service, Ron has been a cornerstone of leadership and community for the Shawnee tribe. He was born on a family Indian allotment along Hudson Creek in Ottawa County. His roots run deep in the land and the people that he serves. He began his career at the Ottawa County Tag Office and held roles in tribal leadership for more than 42 years. For the past 52 years, he has served as a tag agent and has a tag agency in Ottawa County. And in fact, I will tell you this, it's the longest serving tag office in the state of Oklahoma. And yeah, go ahead and clap. The Oklahoma Tax Commission refuses to let him retire. Do you know why? He has perfect audits every 3 years, and he's highly competent at running that tag agency. He even told me he's issued some Chickasaw tribal tags, so that, you know, that's all good too. As chief of the Shawnee tribe, his proudest accomplishments include serving as the chief from 2001 to 2019, helping to facilitate the building of the Shawnee tribal headquarters, successfully placing land into trust in Guyman, Oklahoma. And, you know, that could be a Netflix documentary in itself, right? I mean, good grief. I mean, Bob Dole calling Mary Fallon, Governor Fallon at the time, trying to convince her not to sign off on a two-part determination. I mean, we could go on and on about that story. Establishing and growing the tribe's casino operations of where we're at today, and ultimately serving as the Shawnee Tribal Ambassador. And I really appreciate Chief Barnes, the way he lifts up his tribe, and he really appreciates, you know, respects the elders, and more importantly, respects Ambassador Sparkman and honored him with that title. He also takes great pride. He designed the Shawnee flag. Did y'all know this? I mean, that's incredible. He honors his tribal elders. He now actually counts himself in that category as a tribal elder, believe it or not. And I'll say this, he has been amazed by the warm welcome he has received from Texas County. It's my privilege to introduce my friend, Ambassador Ron Sparkman.
I'd like to meet the guy he just described. Listen, it is a genuine pleasure to be here and to visit with a lot of friends that we developed a lot of friendships over the past 10 years. Now, as I look around at this crowd and I see a lot of familiar faces, naturally I'm not going to try to name everyone that's here. But I do want you to know this. They keep giving a lot of credit to me and a few of the others, but I'm going to set that record straight right now, and Chief Barnes touched on it. The reason we are here today is because of the people of Texas County and Guyman in this area. We had a lot of meetings, and a lot of people kept coming forth to support us. And you don't know how I appreciate that, because we did have some opposition out there. And over time, the citizens out here said, yes, we want this facility. And here we are today. But I must share a story with you. I was just thought of this just this morning. I'd long forgot about it. I wished I had the lady's name. I don't remember it, but we had a public meeting down in the theater. I think, what is that, the American Theater, whatever it is, downtown. And most of the people there were pro for us. They wanted it to happen. And the meeting is winding down, and we get through, and this lady came up. I hate to use the term elderly lady because she's probably young enough to be my daughter, but anyway, she came up to me and she says, Ron, I want to tell you something. I want you to continue, and we want that facility. She says, I've lived in Guyman all my life. And she says, I'm going to tell you something, and you don't forget it. If you came to Guyman and said you had 50 jobs and we're going to pay you $50 an hour and we're going to manufacture Bibles, somebody would be opposed to it. So I've never forgotten that, and that gives you the drive to go on and get things done. And I wished I had that lady's name. I'd have her in a seat of honor up here today. You know, in establishing this facility, we had to jump through a lot of hoops. And of course, I'm going to introduce Governor Annett, but we started out in 2015, and just he and I met, and we talked. And finally, he said, you know, I'm going to turn you over to Bill Lance and the crew. Well, I didn't know Bill Lance, you know. And we started from there, and we developed friendships. It's just grown and grown and grown, and like today, it's much stronger today. And I met with Bill and Congressman Bourne, and we sat down and discussed how we're going to approach this and what we're going to do. And they have a great plan, and yet I stand here today, I receive all the credit. They're the ones that done the work. I'm glad I was there. And yes, I can't say enough good things about them. And in fact, I want to tell you the story about Golden Mesa. Where did that come from? Bill Lance named Golden Mesa. And we were talking about what we were going to do. The land was going to go in trust. Everything was going our way. So we start coming up with names. Well, you know, the Gold Spur. That's the beverage area back there now. If you go by, there's a big sign there that says Gold Spur. I really thought, well, Silver Saddle, that sounded like a great name for it, because this is rodeo country. So if you go, then Bill Lance came up and said, look, Black Mesa's out there. Why can't we just name that Golden Mesa? And everybody there immediately embraced that name. And that's where the name come from, and thank that gentleman right over there. Now, the Silver Saddle, it's back there, it's on the gift shop, you know. And as I've told the council and everybody else, I'm going to take that saddle and I'm going to, next year, maybe the first week in May in the Pioneer Day Rodeo, I'm going to borrow a horse from Vicki Portman and go ride in the grand entry with my saddle, okay? So if the saddle's missing from the gift shop, look for it in your grand entry at the rodeo, okay? And I know we're going to touch on many things here, and Ben's already hit some of them, but he thanks, you know, the council and the staff. I decided in the year in 2019 that I was going to step down from the leadership capacity, and I want to thank my tribe for creating the position of ambassador. And I really feel honored that you done that for me. I really do. And somebody asked me one day, they said, well, you're an ambassador. What does the ambassador do? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what we do, okay? First of all, we start out every morning and we do absolutely nothing. Then we continue doing absolutely nothing. So then we have lunch, and then that afternoon we continue with the same morning program, and then that evening we rest, okay? So that's my job as the ambassador. But if the tribe calls on me, let there be no doubt I'll be there to help and do anything that I can. You know, this facility is, as we stand here today, it's almost impossible to envision what it turned out to be. And There's just so many people that we need to thank, and I don't know how you do that properly. So please forgive me if I've left something out or not brought something forward that I should. Speaking of that, I do want to recognize one thing. In the state of Oklahoma, there are 39 federally recognized tribes. And of course, Shawnees and Chickasaws are the two. But surprisingly enough, yesterday I look up and here's other tribal leaders. And I want to recognize Charlie Debo, chief of the Seneca Cayuga tribe. Is he still? Hey, Charlie. Let's see, Doug Langford, chief of the Miami tribe. Craig Harper, chief of Peoria tribe of Oklahoma. We're Chief Harper. Very. And we have other leaders. Let's see, Callie Dark, she was the second chairman of the Quapaw tribe. And I know we have Terry Mason Moore, who was the assistant chief of the Osage Nation. Now, as usual, I've probably left somebody out. Is there any other tribal leaders here? We cannot thank you enough for coming out and supporting us. And I know you work well with Chief Barnes, and I know he's invited you out. And I'm very, very pleased that you're here, okay? I'm going to kind of wind this down, and I just want to say, as we visit this casino and this facility, you look around and what you see and everything is such in great condition. We always talk about the management staff and how things go, but I want to tell you here today, and I want the word to get to those people, the housekeeping of this place is immaculate. Judy and I have been out here several times. Over the period of the past few years, Judy and I have been out here, and outside there's no dust, dirt, or anything. Everything is just super, super clean, and I want them to know we really appreciate what they're doing, okay? All right, let's move on down the line, and I now have a very pleasant task. I get to introduce the governor of the Chickasaw Nation. We started back, like I said, in 2015 we met, and then later on we became more acquainted as we served. He was a leader, and Bill Lance also, of the First American Museum in Oklahoma City. And Terry Mason Moore and myself, we got to serve on that board of directors with these people. And if you haven't been to Oklahoma City to visit that, I'm asking you to go. You will be impressed. And yes, a lot of people, the state, the city, everybody gets credit, but Governor Anatubby was a driving force behind that, and we must never forget that. So without any further comments, I just want to say I'm very, very proud to introduce my friend and the governor of the Chickasaw Nation, Governor Anatubby. Governor.
Thank you, Chief. Excuse me, Ambassador. Somebody told me that once a chief, always a chief. It's kind of like once a governor, always a governor. Now, that doesn't say anything about leadership, Chief. It's just a title, right? But in his case, there's been a lot of leadership. We thank you for all that you've done. And thank you, Chief Barnes, for stepping up and taking the reins. When we first met, we had a lot of conversations, obviously, but I learned a lot about the Shawnee tribe. He believes in the nation, in the tribe. He believes in his future, he believes in his people, and what can happen for its people. That's really what causes all of us who are in these positions to be motivated. In the case of the Chickasaw Nation, we have a mission statement, and that mission statement is to enhance the overall quality of life of Chickasaw people. That's a challenge many times. It certainly is a joy all of the time to do what we can for our people. And that's just what this project, this facility, this business has done for the Shawnee. Most of us who are in these tribal leadership roles, particularly when we first started, we didn't have a lot to work with. We had our dreams. We had the ability to work. We had some ingenuity among our group. But the thing that really what we had was a job to do, to take care of our nation and of our people. And as has been the case with the Shawnee, same case held true for the Chickasaw many years ago. We didn't have a lot, but we had a dream. We had a mission. We had many goals. We were being served, our people were being served by the federal government, but we knew that the services that were provided were somewhat limited, and there must be a way for us to improve on those services. You know, a lot of governments, whenever they decide they want to do something, they just appropriate money from the Treasury, and that Treasury gets its dollars from taxes, and the people that are served pay those taxes. In the case of our tribes, our people do not pay taxes. They do not pay taxes into the nation. Now, they pay the same taxes as everyone else, which sometimes people don't understand that. So we have to have a means of raising funds so that we can run government, so that we can provide services. And tribes typically go to what everybody refers to as economic development or business development. And so that's what we turned to. We were looking at, working with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Indian Health Service, and other agencies to be able to provide for the tribe. Did not happen at the level that it needed to happen. I remember we had this contracting process that was allowed under Public Law 93-638. So we contracted for the services that were offered by the Bureau of Indian Affairs, or IHS. The one program that I'd like to point out, and you could apply this to most every other program that we contracted, was the education program. When we contracted the program, we were serving less than 200 Chickasaw students with the scholarships. And the scholarships were not nearly what we have today. Today, we serve 5,500 Chickasaws with scholarships. How are you able to do that? It's with projects just like this, or other business development that you're able to put together. Of course, you have to put together a team like we have, and we didn't have a team like that when we first started. It took us a while to get that done. So it takes determination as well. It takes people being committed to the goal and to the mission that you're hoping to achieve. So this project is an example of a turnaround, right? You've turned around the way things that used to be, you've turned it into something new and better. And the more that you do in the field of economic development and business development, you have those funds available in order to do more for the people, to do more development. So my congratulations to you, Chief Sparkman, to you, Chief Barnes, and to everybody that has anything to do with the nation, the tribe, Shawnee tribe, for taking that step, making that decision that needed to be made to take what was a risk to be able to build something that inevitably would provide something to your people, with the people being the number one reason that you're doing it. That says a lot for a leader. And thank you for being those leaders. And everyone else is part of this nation. And I'm thankful that we have the opportunity to play a role, whatever role that we can to help. And we have some, you pointed out some of the people that work here that have done, I rely on those people each and every day to help us do what we do at the Chickasaw Nation. And we've had a mutually beneficial partnership. And we've had it now for several years. And it was born out of a handshake, folks. We had no contract. We had an agreement, but it was a handshake. And an honorable man kept his word. An honorable tribe kept its word. And we've worked diligently to keep our word. We've had some very talented people that have worked with you on this project. You know, we've long embraced the idea of teamwork and partnership with like-minded tribal nations and other institutions and organizations around the state and beyond. I believe working together is so very important. It's important because together, and you've heard this, there's no such thing as tribe when you say this, because together we can achieve far more than any one of us could alone. Partnerships are necessary and beneficial. They're also something that we enjoy. We're pleased to be part of this collaborative effort with this tribe. We're pleased to be partners with them and with the city of Guymon and Texas County. You've seen the results. You're looking at the results today of these partnerships. And with this expansion, this Golden Mesa Hotel, it's a beacon for partnership, for tourism, for progress in this area of the state. It will continue to be a crucial driver of economic and social activity for years to come. We believe this project will serve to increase tourism, enhance local business growth, and improve employment opportunities for many people throughout the community. We're thankful for the opportunity to be partners with you. We enjoy this partnership. We love your people. We're thankful for the work that you do for them. And we appreciate everyone that's been involved in seeing this project come to fruition, from the early stages of planning up to today. I think most people didn't realize the challenges in the beginning. But one thing that you can be very pleased about is that you met those challenges, regardless of how difficult they were. You met them and went beyond them. This is the result. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for what you've done for your people. Thank you for raising the quality of life of your people. And I would say that you could look around and you can see this work has been second to none. And we look forward to seeing many positive benefits as a result of this expansion far into the future. Thank you very much.
Now it's my pleasure to introduce Chris Floyd, the president of Shawnee Development and Shawnee Global. Chris is a proud Shawnee citizen and lifelong Oklahoman with over 25 years of service to the Shawnee tribe in various roles. Since 2018, he has served as the president and board chairman of Shawnee Development, and he's the president and chair of Shawnee Global, the newly established federal contracting division of the Shawnee tribe. Professionally, he holds the position of Vice President of the Tribal Nations Program at Brown & Brown Insurance Services, a leading global provider of risk management and insurance solutions. And most importantly, he's become a treasured friend. Please welcome Chris Floyd.
The good news, Ken, after the microphones after the governor works pretty good for me versus last night. So thank you guys. Number one, thanks everybody for being here. I look out amongst all of this group, and it's pretty amazing to me to see all the familiar faces. A lot of people that are here today had been involved in the project specific, starting a couple of years ago. If you've been involved in the project, just raise your hand. I'm talking about the construction, from design, construction, everything. Would you raise your hand right now, please? I want to look around, see who I'm dealing with. Okay, thank you. You know, I look out, I see a lot of people I recognize even outside our project team, but a lot of you probably look up here and you don't recognize me. Well, that's understandable, because about 2 years ago when we started this project, I had a lot more hair. I had a lot more, things going on, but a lot of things have changed in 2 years. But most importantly, this property has changed. It's turned into a really, really beautiful property because of the efforts and the commitments of our project team, our partnerships, which you've already heard a lot about. But if you've been involved in a project and you're here in this room, I want to thank you right now, because it's a gift. It's really a gift right now to be all of us on the project team in the same room without having to discuss, value engineering, scope change, budget modifications. You guys know what I mean. It's a gift to be in the room and not have to do that. But that's a testament to most, like, the last several months of my life. We've spent working together in those boardrooms, across those desks, trying to find a path to a shared vision, which is a result of what we have today. And I do appreciate the efforts of our team. I appreciate our partnerships. And Governor, thank you and the Chickasaw Nation and all what you've brought to this project and to the Shawnee tribe. Thank you so much for that. Furthermore, you go ahead for Governor, if you will, please. It's kind of hard to follow the governor after, nicely said words. I want to think about a little bit though, on the fact that we have a project here. We've talked a lot about partnerships today. We talked about the strength in the partnerships, but I want to share with you a little bit about the project details. What many of you are standing in or sitting in right now is a result of a huge significant investment for this group, nearly $78 million, or actually a little bit above that. We started this project, we really didn't think that's where we were headed, but that's where we ended up. But that was with the fact that we looked at every facet, every detail of this project as not a cookie cutter approach. This was a very crafted property. Every corner of this building, every piece of tile that's on the floor, the wall coverings, to the clear story lighting that you're in right now. All of that was thoughtfully put together. We have a wonderful design team we'll talk about, and along with the rest of our crew, they helped create this, I would call, just a really wonderful place, really a place of beautiful standing, and I'm hoping that if you haven't had a chance, you'll get to see the rooms today. We have over 1,100 games now. We started out with just a little over 600 on our original floor. We have a little over 1,115 games today. We have over 10 table games. We have some electronic games that are our craps tables. Hopefully you've been able to see that. The beautiful 3 Mill restaurant. If you've not been able to partake or be a part of what's going on in a whole nother level of culinary, fantastic foods. And our great team at Traditions has done a wonderful job bringing another level of food and beverage to the Panhandle region, and we're thankful for that. You know, our bars, our coffee bars, we have the Panhandle Press, which is right next to you. Obviously, probably the only Starbucks within, what, 100 miles or so. It's pretty special to have that. We have an RV park. Many of you may not have seen that or haven't seen it yet. We do have a pretty well built RV park. We're about 47 hookups, full service, concrete all the way through, drive-through. It's really set up for large RVs or RVs of any size, quite frankly. But we're hoping to capture the minds and the attention of travelers coming through from obviously the Rockies to the across the state, and it's going to be a great destination for a lot of people. So there's a lot about this property we've talked about, you've got to see. None of it happened again without the partnerships and of our project team. And I want to thank each one of those as a group one more time before we leave here today. But when I was thinking about this presentation, when I was thinking about the accolades that we all want to give each other, but more importantly, to understand that none of this happens by yourself. And I thought about a quote that it's one of my favorite quotes. It's a very special, near and dear quote to many of us that are Shawnee, and that's a quote from a great warrior chief, Chief Tecumseh. Over 250 years ago, Chief Tecumseh was born. Chief Tecumseh was, in his own day, the great collaborator, the great team builder, the one that brought tribes together during a very difficult time. He was a very wise chief, notably. He understood the power of bringing people together and to be able to accomplish very large situations. And the quote is simple. Very simple. I want you to remember this and look it up later if you forget. But his quote is very simple, and it resonates in my mind a lot and in a lot of others. But a single twig breaks, but a bundle of twigs is strong. You know, if you want to go out in life and try to do everything on your own, this is probably what's going to happen. You're going to break at some point. You're probably not going to find the level of success that you're looking for, whether that's individually in your life or a project like this for sure. You're always going to be limited by your own strength. And I'm going to promise you, as strong as you may be, as strong as you've been brought up to be, as strong as you may think you are, you're never going to be stronger than when you bring others into your life and you pull yourself together as a team. And I was witness to that for the last 2 years as this team came together. This team started with our tribal council, our chief's office. This team started with the idea that we would do this expansion and that we would have to kind of figure out how to make it happen. This is a monumental, large task for our small tribe. We couldn't have done it without our partnerships. We couldn't have done it without our Shawnee Development Board, which I really want to thank you guys, you know, Mike, Mark, John, Cassie, and others that have really come together along with this whole global gaming team, which sits over here, and the partnerships that we've created and made this project work. The Shawnee Tribe Gaming Commission, being able to work with Otis and his team. I asked Otis, I said, how many licenses have been, guys, if you don't understand, there's a process here. It's a heavy regulatory process that requires licensing for you to even work on this property. We don't just let anybody do that. You know, come out here and hang out. There's a process. Otis and his team creates that regulatory and monitors and evaluates and takes care of the regulatory side. That's a lot of work to be done in there. And we had this collaboration of what we call the Golden Mesa Business Board, which is between Global Gaming, the Chickasaws, and the Shawnees. But we have a lot of partnerships. We have a lot of people to thank. And, you know, and along with the Shawnees, the Chickasaws, we have our management team leaders. I want to thank, I've already been noted, but once again, Jeffrey, Anthony, thank you. You both are right here. Thank you. You are a significant part of bringing operations into the discussion, being able to understand when we build a facility, what is the operations going to look like when you're done. Too many people make that mistake. They build out something that looks big and beautiful, but they forget the fact that somebody's got to operate this thing when it's done, right? That's why you guys were a significant part of being at the table, and thank you for that. We brought a great crew of food and beverage team to the table. A little late in the game, right? We brought them in on the third quarter, if you will. Traditions Hospitality Group came in after some negotiations to be our food and beverage partner. They came in, made some beautifully recommended changes to our F&B and hotel delivery. Again, strong partner. You're going to see that in their work. Marcus and your team, Ryan, Brian, Lee, all of your team, thank you for being a part of this and bringing another bond to what we consider a successful project. Also want to thank our construction partners, most importantly, before we leave today. You know, we had started with you have to start with an idea, you have to start with the design, and what does that design look like? And hopefully you've been able to kind of understand what that is today after you've visited the property. Deidre, you and I have talked about this many times, and the word that keeps coming up that was coined, panhandle posh. I love that, right? Panhandle posh was a term that was used early in this design phase, and I think we succeeded with that, right? And I think this is something special that you're not going to find in most, panhandles, if you will, and certainly in the Oklahoma Panhandle. I want to thank the HBG team. I want to thank Connect Advisors. Kelly, as an owner's rep, you've been more than expected. You've been more than in so many good ways. You've been a good friend. You've been the owner's representation that we needed. We didn't know construction the way Connect Advisors knows construction. We needed your collaboration, your help to make sure we were on the right path every step of the way. As you connected with Ken and Global, that was a wonderful moment. With Flintco. Flintco is our construction manager, as our general contractor, some may think, to be able to take on a challenge. This was not an easy challenge. We knew the product that we were trying to produce was not going to be easy in the Panhandle. And we found out it was even probably more challenging than what we expected. Bringing in trade groups, bringing in all the subcontractors, and all that weathered the Panhandle challenges that we have. I want to thank JW and your team for being a significant part of this and being able to make this project happen in the way that you did. Give them a hand. Flintco. Park Hill, I don't know if Josh, if you're here today, but Josh Risling and Park Hill is our civil engineering team. Done a fantastic job. I thought we were building, an airport structure for a while because the amount of engineering that went into the site work, and I was concerned what we were really building here based on the way they were putting it together. But what I realized was they had proposed from a civil engineer's standpoint, this is a product of a property that is here to stand the test of time. This product is engineered in a way that it's not only built for, gaming facilities we have now, but the potential of even more to come in the future and hopefully further expansions. And there's a lot of local trade partners. I won't have time, and everybody that's involved. I hope you understand the importance of what you've done here, the importance that everything's been mentioned from our chief, Ambassador Sparkman, to Governor Anatubby, and others, that you guys have made a difference in the lives of Shawnee people, and you've made the difference in making this product, this project, a very, very big success. And the one thing that I ask when we sit in the boardroom, in fact, in the room here at the old casino side, when we started this project, JW, I think you might remember this. Deidre, you might remember this. Kelly, you might remember this. One of the things I asked from our construction team, I said, guys, listen, other than being on time and in budget, which I knew would be its own challenge, right? I ask you one thing. I ask that when you walk away from this project, that you be proud of the work that you've done and that you would showcase this as a project to others, that you would be proud to put it on your wall, that you'd be proud to put it in your portfolio of projects that you've accomplished. I ask each one of you just to make sure that that's happened. And today I think you can feel proud that each one of you has played your part and have successfully helped complete this project, and something you can be proud of. I'm certainly proud. I want to give you all a hand and say thank you for that. But as I talked about each of these partners that we've just went through, what I've done is I've created the idea, and I know this is just a visual representation. You're not going to break this. The strength of each of these partners that we just talked about is that bundle that Chief Tecumseh talked about that brought strength to being able to accomplish such a monumental project. And I want you guys to hopefully take that home with you today and understand, not only in your business world, but in your personal life, what strength means by bringing others together and making this happen. As I close, and I'm certain I've probably forgot some very important people in all of this, I think Ron, or Chief Sparkman, Ambassador Sparkman said earlier, there's that risk, right? There's just too many people to think, because you know there's so many to be thankful for. But I want you guys all to understand that this expansion is a testament of what we can achieve and can achieve when we collaborate the way we have, as it's already been designed or discussed. You know, throughout this project, we engaged in open dialogue, respecting each other's values of the team we just went over together. We talked about, we had challenges, we had disagreements. We said, guys, we can't do this. And you said, yes, we can. And then we come to the table and we find out, you know, maybe we can do more than we thought. You know, maybe we find a solution around this if we put our heads together and we do that. And that's what happens when you have strong people at the table. You find solutions. You know, with the completion of this project, I think we're set to enhance every facet of guest experience in the Panhandle. You know, we didn't build this to be just another expanded casino. Obviously, it's important, and we got drive revenue to pay for this thing. But we wanted to create what we would consider unparalleled, memorable experiences for people to come and enjoy. You know, we wanted to expand our market. We wanted someone to come to this place. Maybe it's a group of people, maybe it's an individual, but they come and experience entertainment that they've never experienced before, certainly not in the Panhandle region. They've come and they say, you know what, I've enjoyed the appointments of each of their stay, the rooms, the food and the beverage appointments, the things, everything that they touch, we wanted them to feel special. That was a big part of our vision in developing this property. But together, I think we will continue to set the standard of excellence in gaming hospitality here. And, you know, we've not only raised the stakes, but we've also created and elevated an opportunity for wonderful experiences for everybody that I think that walks through that door. In closing, I want to express my deepest gratitude to all of you again that's played a major role in this, or any role in this undertaking. Your belief in our vision as a group has made it possible, and today, together, we've built more than just an expansion. I believe we've built the legacy that we're looking for. And I want to thank you for your hard work, your dedication, your unwavering support, and I want to say here's to new beginnings and adventures yet to come at Golden Mesa. Thank you.
On behalf of everyone that's been involved, thank you so much for your attendance today, and thank you for helping us celebrate this great new expansion at Golden Mesa. Thanks.